You ran the kickoff, you processed the notes, you have 5 solid documents sitting in your project folder right now. An alignment brief, a follow-up email with decisions and actions, a risk register, an action log, and a race e-matrix. But the one document your sponsor actually needs to sign does not exist yet: the project charter, the document that makes the project official, the one that defines scope, secures budget, and gives you the authority to execute. Most PMs open a blank Word document and stare at it for 20 minutes. Then they search for a charter template online, find one that does not match their organization, and spend half a day adapting it. You already have everything you need. It is sitting in those 5 documents. The charter is not new work. It is synthesis. And that is exactly what AI does well. Here is what we are building: a structured project charter with 7 sections. Every section maps to something you already have. Project purpose comes from the alignment brief. Objectives and success criteria were confirmed at the kickoff. Scope boundaries were discussed in the room. Stakeholders and governance come from the race E. Timeline and milestones come from the follow-up email. Risks and assumptions come from the risk register. The only section that needs original thought is approvals. Who signs, in what order, by when? That is organizational knowledge the AI does not have. We are going to use Microsoft Copilot in Word for this one. The charter is a Word document in most organizations, and Copilot generates directly into the document. No copying, no pasting between apps. The same approach works in Claude or ChatGPT. You would paste the source material and get the same output. But today I want to show you what it looks like when the AI writes directly into the document you are going to send. Here is the prompt. I am using Copilot in Word. The document is blank. I click Draft with Copilot and the Compose box opens. Notice the structure. I am telling Copilot exactly which sections I want in exactly the order I want them. 9 sections. This is not a vague, write me a charter. It is a specific blueprint. The in-scope and out-of-scope sections are separate on purpose. That separation is what prevents scope creep later. If it is not in the charter, it is not in the project. I paste the alignment brief and the follow-up email as source material. These 2 documents together contain the project purpose, success criteria, decisions, timeline, and team structure. The tone instruction matters: professional, concise, suitable for executive review. Without that, you get a 5-page essay. With it, you get something a VP will actually read. Let me send it and see what Copilot produces. The charter is in the document, not in a chat window, not in a separate app. Right here in Word, formatted with proper headings, ready to edit. The project purpose section is solid. It pulled the problem statement from the alignment brief and framed it as a strategic initiative. The language is executive ready without being inflated. Objectives and success criteria match what was agreed at the kickoff. Live by September 30th. Under 5-second page load, 0 data loss. But notice it added a 4th objective. All 200 end users transitioned with training complete. That is a reasonable addition. Change management was discussed. But was that specific commitment made in the room? If it was not, adding it to the charter creates a scope commitment nobody agreed to. Check before you keep it. Now look at the out-of-scope section. It is vague. It says something like mobile application development and third-party integrations beyond SSO. Those are generic exclusions that could appear on any project charter. The in-scope section tells people what you are building. The out-of-scope section protects you from what people assume you are building. That section needs your judgment. We will fix it in the next prompt. Here is where Copilot in Word earns its keep. I do not retype the whole charter. I select just the out-of-scope section and ask Copilot to rewrite it. I am giving it the specific exclusions: mobile app, legacy dashboards, new features, performance testing infrastructure, and data archival. These are the 5 things someone on the steering committee will assume are included unless you say otherwise. The performance testing line is important. Remember from the kickoff, the sponsor told Maya privately that performance testing was unfunded. If it is not in the out-of-scope section, someone will ask for it in month 3 and call it a missed requirement. I am also asking for a why sentence on each exclusion. Mobile app development is excluded because the portal is web only for this phase. That one sentence saves you a 30-minute argument in the next steering committee meeting. This is the section no AI can write from scratch. It requires knowing what your stakeholders will assume, what adjacent projects exist, and what political landmines are hiding in the organization. You bring the list. The AI formats it. The charter still has placeholder risks and a generic stakeholder list. I'm going to fix both in one prompt. I paste the risk register from last week's video into the Copilot sidebar. 7 risks, ranked with owners and mitigations. I ask it to pick the top 5 for the charter. Not every risk belongs in an executive document. The charter gets the big ones. I also paste the Race E matrix. The AI maps each person to their charter role. David as sponsor, Maya as project manager, Alex, Sam, and Priya as workstream leads, Jordan and Taylor in supporting roles. This is the payoff of building documents in sequence. The risk register from last week feeds the charter. The Race E from last week feeds the charter. Nothing is retyped. Nothing is reinterpreted. Source material flows forward. Let me send it. The charter is done. 3 pages, 9 sections, every section sourced from documents that already existed. Project purpose, 1 paragraph. Objectives, 4 measurable outcomes. Scope boundaries, specific and defended with reasoning. Stakeholders mapped from the Race E. Risks pulled from the register. Timeline anchored to the sprint schedule. The assumptions section is worth reading carefully. Copilot inferred 3 assumptions from the source material. That the analytics team will be available for schema sign-off, that the existing SSO can handle the projected user load, and that change management training can be completed before September. Those are reasonable inferences, but they are also commitments. If you approve this charter with those assumptions listed, and one of them turns out to be wrong, you have documented the dependency. That protects you. The approval section has placeholder signature lines, sponsor, PM, and a governance line. Who actually signs, and whether you need a steering committee endorsement depends on your organization. The AI cannot know that. 15 minutes, 5 source documents in, 1 executive-ready charter out. The same work from a blank page takes half a day. The charter is formatted, structured, and sourced. But 3 decisions inside it are yours alone. First, the scope line. Mobile app development is listed as out of scope. But what if the VP of Digital promised the board a mobile experience by year end? That context lives in a conversation the AI was never part of. Drawing the scope line is a political act, not a formatting exercise. Second, the budget. The charter references budget approval, but the actual number is not in the source documents. Whether 60,000 is realistic or whether you need 100 depends on conversations with finance, vendor quotes, and trade-offs the AI cannot weigh. Third, the approval chain. The charter has placeholder signature lines, but who actually signs depends on your governance model. Some organizations need a steering committee endorsement. Others need legal review for vendor contracts. That is organizational knowledge no AI has access to. The AI assembled the charter from your source material in 15 minutes, but the commitments inside that charter are binding. Every scope boundary, every timeline, every assumption becomes something your sponsor can point to in month 4 and say, "This is what we agreed." Review it like you are signing it, because someone will. The project charter did not change. It still needs a clear purpose, defined scope, named stakeholders, and an approval chain. What changed is how long it takes to produce the first draft. 15 minutes with Copilot in Word. 5 source documents that you already had. 1 charter that your sponsor can review, mark up, and sign. AI assembled the structure, pulled the data, and formatted it for executive review, but it cannot draw the scope line. It cannot negotiate the budget, and it cannot decide who signs. This week, try one thing. Open your last project's alignment brief or kickoff summary. Paste it into Copilot, Claude, or ChatGPT. Ask for a charter with the 9 sections we covered today. See how close the first draft gets you. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to the channel. Every week, one practical video that moves you forward. Practical AI, one workflow at a time.